The freelance warriors. The observer's confusion. The Virelians were a meticulous species, logicians, archivists, perfectionists of structure. On their fourth visit to Earth, they sent observer Creel to study human productivity. Creel had parsed the economic systems of a dozen intelligent species, each a carefully balanced lattice of roles and schedules. So when he found subject H23, Delta, real name Jordan Lee, his data stream began spitting errors. Jordan's life defied every model. At 7 a.m., they loaded breakfast orders into a beat-up hybrid car. By noon, they were in a cafe designing logos on a battered tablet. At midnight, their screen glowed with debugging code for a gaming startup on the other side of the planet. Creel's first report. Diagnosis: chaotic labor structure. Fragmented purpose. High stress. Unsustainable. Command sent back a simple directive. Observe further. Understand deviation. A day in the storm. Creel cloaked himself inside a hovering surveillance node, following Jordan through a 19-hour day. Orders pinged Jordan's phone like artillery fire. Sushi to a high-rise, groceries to an elder couple, an urgent freelance graphic update for a panic-stricken small business. Each job was disconnected. Each required a different skill set. There were no supervisors, no schedules, only apps and algorithms. Jordan's car was littered with coffee cups, charger cables, and a box of instant noodles. Their eyes were tired, posture bent, but they moved with purpose. They adjusted deadlines. They negotiated pay. They declined offers they didn't like. They smiled at customers and sang along to music between jobs. Creel noted, astonished. Subject appears to enjoy this. Further anomaly. Subject exhibits high autonomy. The breakdown. Then came the crash, not of a vehicle, but of the system. A delivery app glitched, canceling Jordan's most lucrative contract. A design client ghosted, withholding payment. The code work? Delayed due to internal restructuring. Creel zoomed in as Jordan stood outside a gas station, staring at their phone with lifeless eyes. They were down to $20. No plan. No guarantee the next hour would bring income. He logged the moment. Subject has reached terminal instability. But then, something happened. Jordan sat on the hood of their car, pulled out a notebook, and began writing. Plans. Ideas. Hustles. Within an hour, they were back on the road, taking a new job on a different app. By nightfall, they had secured a new contract with better pay and flexible deadlines. Creel's note. Adaptation speed, alarming. Resourcefulness, extreme. The cast without chains. Creel sent footage to command with commentary. In all known societies, freedom is structured. The Virelian planners guild assigns trades for life. The Tharn clans assign role by genetics. Even Earth's older human empires had systems of master and servant, employer and employee. But this human rejects that. They operate in flux, refusing hierarchy. They bow to no caste. Command replied with caution, monitor longer. Behavior may be deviant, not indicative. Creel disagreed. He had begun watching others, like couriers, virtual tutors, night shift programmers. Many struggled, yes. But the successful ones were like Jordan, fast, fluid, self-driven. He wrote in his private notes, untransmitted. They are not trapped in chaos. They thrive in it. The network of fireflies. Jordan wasn't alone. At a late-night cafe, they met others like them. They traded tips about high-paying delivery zones, reliable contract platforms, and scam-avoiding software extensions. They weren't employees. They were co-conspirators in a system that didn't care if they existed, yet they carved out lives from its indifference. They called themselves freelancers. The term sounded archaic to Creel, like something from a feudal war. Freelances. Mercenaries without masters. The metaphor clicked. These weren't workers. They were warriors. Each day was a new battlefield. Each job was a contract. The weapon? Adaptability. The shield? Skill set diversity. And their only loyalty was to survival, and sometimes, if lucky, to dreams. Dangerous freedom. Creel returned to orbit with weeks of footage. Command summoned him via hololink. Well, they asked, are they as chaotic as you feared? No, Creel replied. They are more dangerous. He projected a reel of Jordan juggling 6 contracts in one day, seamlessly transitioning between them. Structure can be predicted. Order can be infiltrated. But these humans, he paused, zooming in on Jordan, laughing at a coding bug, then dashing out for a delivery. They exist in motion. Their power lies not in unity, but in individual versatility. Every one of them is a system unto themselves. You can't overthrow a hive with no queen. Command was silent. Are they stable? One finally asked. No, Creel said. They are not stable. They are resilient. The warriors rest. Creel stayed longer than assigned. He no longer observed to report. He observed to learn. One evening, Jordan sat on a balcony, eating cheap noodles and watching the stars. They weren't rich. They weren't secure. But their eyes held no fear. I don't have a boss, Jordan whispered to no one. Just contracts. I pick him. I break him. I make my own way. Below, other freelancers zipped by, on bikes, in cars, behind screens. All of them lone sparks in a system built to consume. To most species, that would spell doom. But for humanity, it was the forge. Creel made one final note. The humans call it gig work. But to me, they are freelance warriors. Not bound by systems, but shaped by storms. He ended his transmission with 3 words that sent a ripple of fear through the command council. Do not engage.